Hello, students, and welcome back to class. One of the things I've noticed about teaching an online class is we don't get to have face-to-face conversations in a classroom. We don't get to talk about the things that are coming up in this class or the things that are happening university-wide. That's why it's so important that you check your Canvas page every day. You can keep an eye on your grades and check announcements. Do it for all of your classes. That way you won't fall behind on important things that are happening in your class. In this part of the lesson, we'll introduce two new key algebraic topics. The first topic is the idea of combining like terms. Now in your book, the instructions will say to simplify, but on these particular problems, simplify means combine like terms. Look at number 1. 3x is a term. A term has a number part, a variable part, or both. 5x is also a term. Those terms are tied together with either addition or subtraction, making this an expression. Since this term has an x and this term has an x, they're considered like terms. And when you have like terms, you're allowed to combine them. Combine 3x's with 5x's, and you have 8x's. Notice how my work makes that nice triangle. We like that. In number 2, 7z is a term, 10z is a term. Since they both have z's, they're like terms. And if they're like terms, we're allowed to combine them. Combine 7 minus 10 is negative 3. That's negative 3z. This is the simplified form of this algebraic expression. Notice no equal signs, and we like to show our work in that triangle form. For number 3, 2n is a term, 3n is a term. Combined with either addition or subtraction, that's an expression, and we're allowed to combine the like terms. So 2n minus 3n is negative 1n. Got it. Number 4 has 3 terms. 5c is a term, c is a term, 2c is a term, all tied together with addition. Now this term has a 5 as the coefficient. This term has a 2 as the coefficient. When a term doesn't have a number out front, it's understood to be a 1. You can put a 1 in front of that c, or just remember that it's a 1. Now let's combine. 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 2 is 8. 8c. Again, our work in that nice triangle shape, no equal signs. That looks great for number 4. Now let's be careful with number 5. There are 3 terms. There's 1, there's 1, there's 1. This term has an x, and this term has an x. So those are like terms, and I can combine them. The middle term does not have an x. I cannot combine it with the other 2. Let's combine 3x minus 7x, which is negative 4x. And this plus 9, since it's not a like term, I cannot combine it, and I leave it separate. Perfect. In number 6, 8m is a term, 3 is a term, 1 is a term. The 3 and the 1 are considered like terms because neither one has an m. This one has an m. It's not like those. We can combine the like terms. I'll copy the 8m, and let's combine negative 3 and negative 1. Negative 3 and negative 1 combined is negative 4. Beautiful. In number 7, I again have 3 terms. This one has a y, this one has a y, this one has a y. So they're all like terms. When I have a term with no number in front of it, I'll think of that as a 1. Let's go left to right. 8 minus 6 is 2, minus 1 is 1. That's 1y. Got it. This problem has 4 terms. That's an x. That's got an x. That's got an x. That one does not. Let's put the x terms together. Those are like terms. 7x minus 6x is 1x, plus 5x is 6x. And this plus 2 goes right there. Beautiful. The second new concept that we'll discuss today is the distributive property. Now again, our textbook just likes to say simplify. Simplify can mean so many different things. In these problems, simplify means distribute. And distribute means multiply. Take the number that is outside of the parentheses and multiply it times each of the things that are inside of the parentheses. 2 times y looks like this. 2 times 3 looks like this. Now that's got a y. That does not have a y. Those are not like terms, so you're not allowed to combine them. There's the way my final answer should look for number 9. Let's do the same with number 10. Take the number that's outside, multiply it times the a, multiply it times the 6. Negative 3 times a is negative 3a. And negative 3 times negative 6, that one's negative, that's 2 negatives. When I multiply 2 negatives, I get a positive, and 3 times 6, that's 18. For number 11, I'll take the 4 and distribute it by multiplying it times the 3x and multiplying it times the 7. 4 times 3x, 4 times 3 is 12, so that's 12x. And 4 times 7, that's 28. Copy that addition sign in between. Got it. Here I'll take negative 8, distribute it times 8y times 10. Negative 8 times positive 8 is negative 64y. Negative 8 times 10 is negative 80. Beautiful. Now here's what your homework problems will look like. Again, simplify, but now we're going to both distribute and combine like terms in the same problems. Let's try it. For number 13, take this 5 and distribute. So it's 5 times 6. It's 5 times y. And copy the minus 2. The minus 2 is outside of the parentheses, so I don't multiply it with the 5. Now look for like terms. The 30 does not have a y. The 2 does not have a y. I can put those together. This term does have a y. I cannot combine it. Let me write the negative 5y first. And then 30 minus 2 is 28. There's exactly how I want you to show your work. Write the problem down, distribute, combine like terms. 14, we must be careful. It would be very convenient to add the 10 and the 4 and get 14. But let's think PEMDAS. And in PEMDAS, multiplication happens before addition. Multiplication here must happen before the addition. I must distribute first. Copy the 10 plus. Now distribute the 4. 4 times 6x is 24x. And 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Now combine like terms. This term does not have an x. This term does not have an x. I can combine those. The 24x, I'll copy and combine 10 minus 8 is 2. Beautiful. Write the problem down. Distribute. Combine like terms. No equal signs. Make your work in that nice triangular fashion. This one's loaded with negative signs. Let's see if we can make it through. We'll start by distributing. Negative 3 times 5, negative 3 times negative 2m. Negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. Negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6m. This is a negative. This one's a negative. Two negatives make a positive. Now the minus 4m was outside of the parentheses, so I'll copy it. Now look for like terms. This term has an m. This term has an m. Let's combine them. 6m minus 4m is 2m, and this negative 15, I'll copy. Great. 16, well, this is a busy problem. We'll distribute once. We'll distribute twice. That's 3 times 5x, 3 times negative 2, 2 times 3x, and 2 times 1. Now combine like terms. That's got an x. That's got an x. 15 plus 6 is 21. This one does not have an x. This one does not have an x. Those are like terms. Negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4. This last problem is kind of a special situation where you have a set of parentheses and it just has a negative out front. When that happens, we can think of this as being a negative 1. You can write that 1 in like I did, or just remember that it's there. Now we're going to take that negative 1 and distribute. Negative 1 times 5x and negative 1 times negative 1. Negative 1 times 5x, that's a negative times a positive. Negative 1 times negative 1, that's 2 negatives. And copy the minus 10. Now combine like terms. This term does not have an x. This term does not have an x. I can combine them. I'll copy the minus 5x first. And when I combine 1 minus 10 is negative 9. Got it. All right, your turn. Go do some homework problems. I'll see you later on today.